All right, we're here and welcome in. It is The Grind Session, TanagerSports.tv. You're watching us live on YouTube. And we just wrapped up our regular season here on The Grind Session. And what a year it has been. The 24-25 season has been absolutely unbelievable. Not only are we going to get to some bracket matchups here for a World Championship as it starts in Salt Lake next weekend and finishes in Kansas, but we're going to see the all-star selections both on the men and women's side. And let me just start by this. We had a lot of a hype coming into the season with matchups and teams gaining new players and things of that nature. Let me start on the ladies' side of things here this evening. I know Brian Clifton, who's been doing games alongside of me. Let's talk about your background. You being a Word of God, having a number one draft pick here in John Wall in the past. And I know you said, man, the women's side of things, I just never really paid attention to women's basketball,
Absolutely.
but I know they won you over this year.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about just some of the players that stood out to you this year here on the Grind Session.
By far my favorite anywhere was Chance Berry. Got a chance to see her down at Daytona. Been a fan ever since. Jonah Flores, Mackenzie Buckner. Like I've had quite a few of them that have left a lasting impression on me.
And speaking of impressions, they'll look to make their impressions on the All-Star game as well. Let's look at the All-Star selections, and we got all the names pulled up for you. We'll highlight some. We heard about Bella Hines. We heard about her previously, even before she got to Albuquerque. And she was absolutely outstanding. Her first couple games on the Grind Session this season, she goes for 50-plus. She's an all-star here this year on the Grind Session. Olivia Edwards, a two-time all-star with Elite Prep. But I see some names like Flores, who we were just talking about. She just recently signed with Iona.
Absolutely.
We were super excited to see her start to get some of the love and attention that she deserves. And you see that lineup down all the way through. How about another two-time all-star selection? Emma Slack breaks a Grind Session record this year for the number of threes she hit in a single game. And then Mackenzie Buckner, loving seeing her on the list. Her testimony is absolutely unbelievable. And congratulations to all of the young ladies that you see on your screen right now that has made this all-star team, and congratulations to them. Let's move on to bracket play on the women's side. Let's talk about it. Our first matchup, let's look at it. It's a 1-8 matchup, and actually we have a play-in situation. The number one seed is going to be DME Academy on the women's side. This is their first year here on the Grind Session, their first tournament appearance, and they're going to play the winner of Albuquerque and Hamilton Heights here in this one. And Albuquerque, listen, it has an opportunity to, make some noise here. They're going to be playing against Hamilton Heights as well out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. What are you looking forward to there in that matchup as DME await the winner of that one?
It's a little bit heartbreaking for me. Albuquerque, I've gotten the chance to see Bella and Lillian and those guys quite a few times. Absolutely in love with the story around the program, how family oriented it is, and how well the girls play together with and without Bella being on the court. So to see them having to have a playing game, and then the winner of that, I don't know that there's necessarily a winner, because DME is a freaking machine, man. They are loaded. Mike has got those girls clicking on all cylinders. They've got an absolute ton of talent. They run great stuff. They're well conditioned. That could be a bit of a buzzsaw for you.
And I'll tell you, as far as their head-to-head matchup, Albuquerque and Hamilton Heights met at Mustang Madness. Hamilton Heights was victorious in that matchup. 83-73 was the final, and there was a couple head-to-head matchups with DME. As they could possibly play Albuquerque, they won 99-70 in Daytona against Albuquerque, and they also went against Hamilton Heights and was victorious there in Louisville, 67-43. Moving on to the next matchup, it is our 4-5 matchup that's on your screen. That's going to be Fort Erie International Falcons, the ladies from there, and also Legion Prep at the number 5 spot. And let's talk about this matchup. Fort Erie, a very dangerous team. Legion Prep, super loaded with a lot of talent. Kind of surprised that I'm seeing these two at a 4 and 5 spot. They did play one time head-to-head in Atlanta. Legion was victorious, 72-65. What do you look forward to in that one?
Like you said, it's going to be an absolute battle. I think they're comparably talented. The talent that they have on the roster, I think Legion may have a little bit more, but with Fort Erie, just like on the guys' side, it's just the level of dedication and commitment that they have to the overall program and what they're able to do with the girls in terms of the sets that they're running and the things that they're doing. That's going to be a battle.
Fort Erie finished as runner-ups just in 2023, and this will be again another tournament appearance for them. All-time tournament record 3-2. We go to the number 2 and number 7 matchup. It is a matchup between Grind Prep out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and the Academy of Central Florida. And first year on the grind session for Grind Prep, second year on the grind session for Academy of Central Florida. And the Grind Prep has at times looked like the best team in the league, but they fall at the number 2 spot. But it'd be an interesting matchup. Last time these two met head-to-head, it was in Miami. And Central Florida Grind Prep actually won that game 83-61. Tough matchup for Academy of Central Florida, but they should be up to the task.
I think they are.
And we'll move on to the next one here. It is our 3-6 matchup. Bella Vista on the ladies' side out of Scottsdale, Arizona, coached by Ryan Mason. And Royal Crown Lions, one of your favorite, at that number 6 spot. Bella Vista comes in. This is their 5th tournament appearance, their 5th year here on the grind session. And they're taking on the Royal Crown team and Chance Berry. I know you are a big fan of Chance.
Superstar.
And I don't know. This could be a possible match. Maybe a number 6 seed has never beat a number 3 seed on the women's side of our tournament.
Calling it this year. I'm
You're
all in on
it?
Chance Berry. I'm all in on her.
All right. Bella Vista may have something to say about that. And that'll wrap up the bracket play for the women's side of things. Let's move on to the guys. We got a couple watch parties going on, and if you're watching, we're excited to have you on. Let's start with the all-star selection for the men. I won't go through all the names, but I'll highlight a few. We'll start with some that are repeat all-stars. How about Christian Gillian or Mike Jones, Tristan Ford, Josiah Sanders, who were one of the most improved kids just a year ago, committed to go to Colorado. Ike out of Dream City. Anthony Falesi, a 2-time All-Star. J.J. Maniquit, A.J. DeBlanca also selected once again here to the All-Star selection. But also there's a lot of kids from Prolific Prep as well. We see Nico on there, the Player of the Year, and DP, Naismith Player of the Year. We'll talk about that in a bit. And the young fellow, Benny Akizi, Winters Grady, Hunter Carter, also a 2-time All-Star on there. Marte Barnes, who we saw this weekend as well. Marquise Ponder from West Oaks. A lot of talent in that all-star selection. Anybody stands out for you that stood out to you this season outside of some of the obvious?
I'm really the progress that I watched Marcis Ponder make from seeing him in the first time and not being very high on him at all, but watching his maturation over the course of the season. I'm really, really excited to see him earn this distinction and get an opportunity to be considered one of the best on this platform. So that probably excites me the most. Mikael Brown Jr. I'm a huge Mikael Brown Jr. fan too. So to see him recognized, that's a really good thing too. Just all tremendous kids with incredible work ethics and just oozing with talent that are going to have extremely bright futures going forward.
And now what a lot of people have been waiting for, especially on the men's side, are the matchups here, the seeding. Let's go. Everybody's kind of getting to the edge of the seat. Let's look at the first one. We're talking about the number 1 seed, Prolific Prep, and their matchup, the 16th spot that is going to go to the Patrick School. The Patrick School coming in here with some momentum going into next weekend, maybe a team that comes in with a lot of confidence, has some success over this past weekend. But this is the crew. They're on a journey to get their 3rd title in a row here, and they're led by a great staff. They're led by great players, great program. The Patrick School have their hands full, but this is no cupcake. This is no walk in the park. That is for sure for anyone. What do you think about this 1-16 matchup?
Prolific Prep, they ooze the Patriots, Chiefs, like just you hate to see it happen, but you know that there's nothing really that's going to happen that's going to change the outcome when they're playing. They're just extremely well coached. The roster's masterfully crafted. The way that they play, and the kids just even watching them play this game just a little while ago, that it really for all intents and purposes, it didn't mean very much for them on paper to win the game. They were going to probably be the first seed anyway. They haven't lost a game since 2023.
Yeah.
So it really – but the level of effort that those kids played with, how they closed out the game, how they fought back, they got a lead, lost the lead, got it back, and were able to secure the game. It speaks to just the promise that they've all been able to experience being a part of the program and going forward.
Let me give you some numbers here real quick before we move on to the next matchup. This is the 11th season for Prolific. This is their 11th tournament appearance. They're 21-7 all time in the tournament. Under Coach Ryan, they're undefeated in the regular season 2 years in a row. And it's been, 2-time champions. They're going for their third one. And here's the deal. Has a 16 seed ever beat a number 1 seed? It has happened. It was back in 2022, and it was Veritas Prep, ironically, over Prolific. So no pressure added there.
Yeah,
but
I don't think there is any.
But listen, they're 3-time world champions in 2020 with that Jalen Green group. 2023, obviously 2024, and they'll look to try to repeat this season. And listen, they haven't had a head-to-head matchup with the Patrick School as well, so that'll be interesting to watch those guys get prepared for that matchup. Let's
Patrick
move
Schools
on.
They're a good team. They've got some good talent. The young kid Santonio, the point guard on their team, they've got a really, really good team. They're going to put up a fight early, but I think ultimately just it's one of those situations that they're going to run into a buzzsaw and just it won't be enough.
We'll stay on the left side of the bracket. We'll go jump to the number 8 and number 9 matchup here. We're talking about a matchup with the Academy of Central Florida, the Golden Bulls from Orlando, Florida, taking on Royal Crown, a tough, hard-nosed team out of Canada. And this is the second year on the grind session for the Academy of Central Florida. That coaching staff, they've been around forever as far as on the grind session. Second year for Royal Crown as well. These two met head-to-head in Miami. It was a win for Academy of Central Florida, 66-56, so a 10-point lead there. And interesting matchup there. We got a couple 7-footers that's going to be doing battle, but two well-coached teams, and I think that's a really good 8-9 matchup.
Yep. I think Academy of Central Florida is a better team than they were the first time. I haven't seen Royal Crown to know whether they've gotten better or not, but I know especially a few hours ago, confirmed that Academy of Central Florida is for real, and they're a much better team than they were last time that I saw them, which wasn't very long ago. So.
And the dogfights continue. Now, this is one of the most interesting matchups because of injury, because of who may or may not be available. But DME Academy at the number 4 seed, going to be taking on Colorado Prep. I don't know if Mikael Brown is going to play or not, if he's going to be available for them, but they're 3-3 all-time tournament record. This is their 4th appearance in the tournament for DME. Matt's going to have his hands full with Colorado Prep. They're well coached. Mike's going to have his guys ready to go. Their tournament record is 1-4 all time. These two teams have not met this season, so it'll be a first-time matchup for these rosters this season. But an interesting 4-13 matchup here in the tournament this weekend. We're going to move on to the next one because, listen, they don't get any easier. How about the 5-12 matchup? Iowa United, coached by Dean Oliver, is going to take on Huntington Prep, a very dangerous team out of West Virginia. This is Huntington's first tournament appearance. So is Iowa United. They're led by the big fella down low. And a 12 seed over a number 5 seed. Has it happened before? Yeah, we've seen it 2 previous times. Back in 2017, there was 22 feet Academy beat Victory Rock, and then West Oaks got a win as a number 12 seed in 2018 as well. What stands out to you in this matchup between Iowa United and Huntington?
I think ultimately Iowa will be successful, but Huntington they've got such tremendous length on the perimeter. They've got really good guards positions. They make shots. They rebound the ball pretty well. They play with kind of a youthful energy. They're not as young as a DNA Prep, but they're a pretty young team as well in terms of the guys that they rely on to make plays for them. But that's going to be an interesting matchup. That one will be a little close.
Okay, moving on. We're going to go to the other side of the bracket. How about this? The number 2 seed, the number 15 seed matchup is a matchup between Dream City Christian taking on DNA Prep. Kyle Weaver, he is a 2-time champion as a coach here on the Grind Session, looking for his first one at Dream City. The one loss that Ryan has had on the Grind Session came in the hands of a matchup between Kyle Weaver, well-coached team in Dream City. Kyle won a championship with Hillcrest back in 2017. DeAndre Aiden was part of that ball club, who ended up being the number 1 overall pick. He also won a world championship with Bella Vista in 2019. And in that game, he was a huge, big-time underdog, taking on a LaMelo Ball team that they defeated for a world championship. But he comes in against a young DNA Prep team that just doesn't seem to back down from anybody as they grab that number 15 seed, coached by Frank Robinson. I don't know if this is going to be a walk in the park for Dream City.
No.
Obviously, the heavy favorite on paper, but DNA seems to find a way to be involved in ball games.
I'm on upset alert. DNA's for real, man. Those guys, they're chomping at the bit to get it done. And I think every single day that goes by that they have success, they start to believe a little bit more. Coach Robinson is absolutely convinced. He's got Scoop Jardine, who was a heck of a player in his own right back in his high school and college days at Syracuse. And those guys have those kids believing, man, and they're playing hard. I don't like this matchup for Dream City.
Well, I tell you what, if it were to happen, it would be history, because the number 15 seed has never beaten the 2nd seed here on the Grind Session. Just to kind of go over the record for Dream City, they're 8-5 all-time on their records here. They were runner-ups in 2023 and 2024 as they had to face prolific, both those teams. And I don't know, that's a tall task for DNA, but yeah, I think they'll make it competitive. But I'm picking Dream City to come out victorious on this one. Now, one of the most intriguing matchups is the 7-10 matchup. The number 7 seed is going to go to West Oaks. The number 10 seed is going to go to Fort Erie International, the Falcons. And West Oaks, obviously, they have a lot of talent on their roster. It seems like every year, come this time of this year, Kenny has his guys ready to roll. And he looks to do the same here. They're 11-7 all-time, their record here on the Grind Session in tournament play. There were runner-ups in 2015. There were runner-ups in 2022. They're looking to shock the world come tournament time as they match up. Their journey starts against Fort Erie. This is their 3rd year on the Grind Session, 2nd tournament appearance as well, first time earning a overall 10 seed. Their highest was 8. And last year, they're 1-2 overall time record in tournament play. What stands out to you in this matchup?
On paper, West Oaks should be a top 2-3 team. There's no one else that has a roster that's put together solid as theirs in terms of how they can dominate you at each position. No one else matches up with Ponder. Bola is another a 7-footer who handles, shoots, things of that nature. They've got solid point guards with Jaden and with the other point guard that they have.
Yep, Smith.
Willie,
Smith, yep,
with
and Willie
Smith
Barnett.
with Willie Barnett, who can score the ball, who takes shots from all different spots and can really get that thing going quickly. They really, on paper, they should be one of the top 2 or 3 teams. Obviously, being at 7, they haven't quite played up to that. But this time of year, when it's win or go home, you never know.
Let's move on to the next one here. A team that absolutely gives people fits defensively. They're just like little pests.
Absolutely.
And I say that with all due respect. Number 3 seed is going to go to Winston-Salem Christian. They're going to take on DME Wisconsin. Winston-Salem, they're undersized. They know who they are. They pressure. They play a ton of different defenses, probably 11 to 12 different sets that they love to run, different type of pressure that they love to put on. They know they're going to foul you. They know they're going to be aggressive, and that's their style. And DME is going to really have to have some good guard play. They have McClure. I love that kid for DME Wisconsin. He plays hard, Cruz McClure, but they're going to need him and some extra help if they look to get it done against Winston-Salem. Talk about Winston-Salem. How big of a threat can they be overall in this tournament?
Their pressure is absolutely devastating. One of the biggest things that they do is if you have a primary ball handler, regardless of how good he is, that guy's not going to beat them. They're going to get the ball out of his hands, and if you don't have a second and third ball handler who can make plays, you're going to be in trouble against them. The pressure is relentless. They trap time after time. They'll, just like you said, they'll mix it up, and you don't know when the traps are coming or what to really expect for it, other than that once they start it, you're pretty much at their mercy.
I tell you, they're coming in, too, with a lot of confidence. They're coming in off winning the Big Shots National Championship as well. So that's another team that comes in with a lot of momentum and looking forward to that matchup there. All right, another great matchup here is I think it's going to be interesting. Now, this might be an upset alert right here. The number 6 seed, Utah Prep, is taking on the Fort, a team, the Fort, kind of elevating up into the tournament out of the Elevation League, and Utah Prep is coached by Keith Smart. They have had an interesting season, to say the least. And they came in with a lot of excitement with AJ making the transfer from Prolific to Utah Prep. This is their second year on the grind session. They were 1-1, obviously won their first game of the tournament last year, and then fell a little short. AJ seeking his second grind session world championship, but with a different squad. We have seen the 11 seed upset the 6 seed more than any other spot in our tournament. It happened in 2017, 2019, 2021, and the following year, 2022, where Bella Vista beat Donda Academy, a team that was coached by Frank Robinson. The Fort, they come with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. Even at the beginning of the season, they felt like they were a team that could play against power conference teams, and they wanted to prove themselves. This is an absolute perfect opportunity for them to do so with a kid that's arguably maybe, made a statement of be the number 1 player in the country, and AJ DeBonta, but the Fort has their hands full. What is it going to take for Utah Prep not only to win this game, but to make a run in this tournament?
They have to figure out who they are and be committed to being whatever that identity that they choose consistently. I think they're one team when they play through AJ. I think they're a completely different team when they play through JJ. And depending on the matchups, it's not always putting the ball in the best player's hand isn't always the best thing for their team. And we've seen them do it, both ways. It's going to be a matter of them making a decision and then being able to stick with it consistently, because there are no let-ups on this. This first matchup for them against the Forts, they've been one of my favorite teams. I've thought that even that they played at times better than their other team. So for them to be in the situation that they've drawn them on the first, you got to get your stuff together right away. And once you get it together, you've got to be able to maintain that over the next 3 or 4 games, or you go home.
Well, listen, folks, it is going to be a great, great event, and we're looking forward to everybody tuning in and being there. So to give you a schedule plan, so you want to stay locked into our social media pages. If you haven't followed us yet, do so right now. Just stop what you're doing. When this broadcast ends, follow us on social media. You could go over to Instagram and follow us there. The Real Grind Session on Instagram, Tanager Sports on Instagram. You can slide over to X, formerly known as Twitter. Follow us there, The Grind Session on X, and Tanager Sports on X. You can keep track of game times, bracket times. Those were on the graphic as well, but we'll have those up for you. The big matchups, the behind the scenes, as we bring you those as well. And we're going to begin to shut things down here in Utah and get ready to head to Salt Lake. But before I let you go, I want to say congratulations to all of our teams, all of our players for their success on and off the court, to the parents and the coaches and staff that make this possible for them. And our staff, all the people who are behind the scenes, from Scott to Dan, to Chris and the crew, Jess, the list goes on and on, CJ, Brian, great job this year, Cullen. We'll have all hands on deck in the next couple of events, and you guys have done a wonderful, wonderful job. It's been the 11th season here on the Grind Session with some of the world's best players on the men and women's side. You're watching a season with the top 2 players in the country. How far would those players go? How much do the underdogs have to say about that? And let's not forget, this is a tough league to win ball games in, let alone win a world championship, and the road to that championship begins right now. We'll see you next week in Salt Lake City. Stay tuned. Everything Grind Session. we're coming at you, man. Congratulations on a great season, awesome. And we'll see you soon. This is The Grind Session.